Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to a new Breakout Solutions live stream. I'm your host, Matt Patiri, here with you today with another Bitcoin technical analysis video. So we've had a pretty boring, how many days has it been now? Since the 18th of August, so that is coming up to 10 days now. Pretty boring sideways action for the last 10 days. And as you can see, and you should know by now that Bitcoin had broken this amazing green trend line that we had been, running on for the last, 8 months now since the start of the year. So where is Bitcoin going to go now? Well, the continuation and the easiest solution to this problem is looking at the market structure. So the market structure on this chart is slightly different to most other charts because this is the Bybit perpetual contracts chart. And you can see that during the dump that we had 10 days ago, Bitcoin actually broke this low right here. With this week, it broke that low, but on multiple exchanges, that has not occurred. So if we quickly dive over to BTC USDT on Coinbase, for example, we should be able to see that we have created a higher low. So this is going to add a little bit of confusion as to where Bitcoin goes next, because if we go off the Coinbase chart, what we are going to be creating is a bullish or hidden bullish divergence. So we have a high in price, as you can see, and on the RSI, we are going to have a lower low, like so. So this is normally a hidden bullish divergence, right? And you can see an example of one, if I just make those a little bit small, you can see a recent example of a hidden bullish divergence between this candle right here, this red candle right here, and this candle right here, right? So if we look at both of those candles, let me just zoom in a bit. So if I draw a line from this candle, so the candle closed, to this candle, we have a lower low in price. Excuse me, a high low in price, like so. So candle wick to candle wick, boom, like so. And we have a lower low on the stochastic RSI. You can just barely see there's an inclination here. So that bullish divergence created this little pop to the upside. If we do get this hidden bullish divergence, it's going to be difficult to know if this is a real bullish divergence, because on other charts and other exchanges, Bitcoin actually went below this price point. So this is where right now I'm definitely in a no trade zone, not buying, not selling, just kind of relaxing and waiting for the price action to lead me in the right direction. So it's very difficult to get a complete picture, but I'm going to give you guys basically the bullish and bearish scenario on both of these. The bearish scenario is more likely more downside. The reason being is on market cipher B, right here, this red and green waves, this is the money flow. And we're in the deep red money flow right now on the daily, meaning there's going to be some continuation, because once we enter the red money flow, it takes a fair bit of price action and volume to start curving that money flow back to the upside for us to then get some green money flow. But once we're in green money flow, it's all, it's off to the races. That's the word I was looking for. Off to the races, or the phrase I was looking for. So where is Bitcoin going to go now, and what are some good selling and buying options? Well, let me just dive back into my normal chart, because I did mark out some things for everyone to look at. On the macro side of things, we have a huge resistance between 27,500 and 28,000. What do we have here? So we have the point of control of the entire upward moving price action from middle of November until now. We can see that the point of control, which means the most amount of Bitcoin was traded at $28,000, okay, buying and selling orders. The next highest volume is down here at around about $23,000. So I do have a little green box here for a little bit of a potential buying opportunity or longing for anyone that does any leverage trading. The reason being is not only do we have a high volume node, let me bring up here. So high volume node, you can see right here, it's a little bit darker because it's below the value area low of the range, but we have the value area low. We have a lot of liquidity, a lot of volume. So a lot of people either bought or sold there. So that means a lot of people probably, volume and order order charts. So when you're on an exchange, there are orders and a different price action. It probably means there's going to be a fair bit of orders around at $23,000. So I've got a little green box or rectangle here, because what this would mean as well is a swing failure pattern of this low right here. Now, swing failure pattern is when price action looks like it's going to go and, just start dumping down, much like here. And a lot of traders are like, okay, they're breakout traders, so they'll start shorting the absolute lows. This builds up a lot of liquidity, and then we get the whales to send it in the opposite direction. So this is definitely a buying zone or a longing zone for me personally, this value area low and the swing failure pattern of just below 23,595. But once again, this is a bit of a difficult trade because Bitcoin did not go, but Bitcoin didn't go below 25,000 on most exchanges. So very difficult to know if we're actually going to scoop up this liquidity down here, because this would be such a major dump on all the other exchanges. It's another, we're looking at 10% from where we are, whereas some exchanges may or may not do that because of depending on the liquidity. Because right now, a lot of exchanges are at their all-time lowest liquidity, meaning a lot of people have bought Bitcoin and have taken it off exchanges. They don't want to sell it, right? So they're hodling it for the next upcoming bull market. So there's going to be a lot of volatility in the coming months because of this decreased amount of Bitcoin on exchanges. So my buying zone, first buying zone is around 23,500. Then we have the golden pocket from the most recent lows to the highs here at $21,714, and between $21,000. So that zone is also a buy zone for me. Then the 786, which would also be a swing failure pattern of this low at 19,500. And then, of course, we've got the ultimate low to create a large double bottom as well for Bitcoin. So I can't give you certainties on what's going to happen. Right now, it obviously seems like it's very, it's very simple to see that it's predominantly more downside to go. If we do get a pop to the upside, look for huge resistance up here. We have the 200 period daily moving average, as well as the 200 weekly moving average right here, which is this blue line. Let me just make it a little bit bigger for you guys so you guys can see it. Boom. And let me just turn off the 50 EMA. So the 200 weekly EMA, moving average, simple moving average is right at, I should be able to tell you, 23,321. Okay, 23,000. Where is it? Right here. Why is it telling me? Yeah, sorry, 27,613. Right, I think it's just following. It's just okay. There we go. 27,590, 23,590. That is where the weekly 200 period moving average is. And I go back to the daily. If we look at the daily is at 27,433. Right, so 150 bucks difference between the both. So that's going to create some resistance. The point of control is also there, which is going to cause resistance. And then we have 3 levels of support or liquidity where I think things are going to get scooped up. So these are the green boxes are my buy zones. The red box is my sell zone, if price, or shorting zone if the price goes back up there. Because the other thing is because there's a big fear of price going down, this is going to provide a lot of liquidity of people wanting to sell, try and scoop up lower, and then the whales are going to push it back to the other way. And the reason why there's a big possibility that this could occur at the end of this week is because on the weekly, if we look at the weekly, and I bring up the stochastic RSI, we can see that the stochastic moving averages are very low. They're close to the all-time low. Look at that blue moving average at the all-time low of 1.66%. And every time the blue moving average has gotten that low, we tend to see a reversal in price, okay? And Bitcoin will tend to push back to the upside. But what I've done here on the stochastic is I've also created this trend line. So if Bitcoin does pump, right, it could be a mild pump for a week or a very aggressive pump, and then we get rejected from this trend line, creating a low once again, and then we bounce around in this triangle for quite a little bit of time to finally get a resolution to the upside. And this break of trend would be an explosive move, and that looks like it's in 2024. So we could do something like that. What's in 2024? Well, we have the Bitcoin halving, which is usually the catalyst for the next Bitcoin bull market, which also is the catalyst for the altcoins starting to do something. So right now we have a lot of work to do. We can clearly see here if we were going off the RSI, we have potential hidden bullish divergence. On market side for B, we look like the VWAP, which is this yellow wave right here, is bottomed down, signaling we're pretty much close to a bottom, if not at the bottom right now. And if we do get this little trigger wave, this is going to cause a bit of price action to move to the upside, especially whilst on the weekly we're still in the green money flow. So if this does clip off and create like a small wave like this, we're going to see, some big price action to the upside. But right now, the bears are still in control. It looks like the downside should cease at the end of this week, and then we should finally see a reversal at the beginning or midway through next week, which would mean some upside. If we go up from here, I've seen a few people on the interwebs talking about a potential head and shoulders. Let me get my little head and shoulders pattern because I like using the old head and shoulders. Okay, we've got the left shoulder, boom. We've got the head, like so. We would create a right shoulder, boom. And then the target for this is measuring from the head to the neckline, bring it to the point of breakdown. And you can see that it revisits close to the zones that we're looking at, more so the golden pocket. So I could definitely see us do this, just pushing up from here, maybe getting rejected at the value area high, rolling over, doing this head and shoulders, which would match up perfectly with what's happening with the stochastic RSI. We'd get a bounce, okay? That would be a bounce in price action. We would get a push to the upside, create that right shoulder, and then come down. But it's way too early to talk about head and shoulders because we haven't even started really forming that right shoulder. So right now, I know things are quite boring. Volatility is quite low. If I chuck on the Bollinger Band width percentile, let me just remove that and go see here. We can see that on the weekly, the volatility is still quite low, but it is expanding, meaning some of the moves are still incoming. On the 5-day, volatility is pushing to the upside, so another move is around the corner. On the 2-day, volatility is moving to the upside. Okay, so if volatility is moving to the upside, it means that we're going to get some price action. Doesn't mean that it's going to the upside like the stochastic RSI. The direction is neutral. It doesn't tell you what direction. It just means, hey, big price action incoming. If we go back to the daily as a bit of an example, we can see that right here when we had these blue bars, this is where volatility was at all-time low, right? We just traded sideways. Those Bollinger Bands compressed, and then we had that explosive move to the downside. So now that it's reached its pinnacle, you can see that the volatility is slowing down. If I did turn on the Bollinger Bands, that'll give us a better indicator. Oops, not that one. No, If I turn on the Bollinger Bands, you'll see that the daily Bollinger Bands are still quite wide and they're coming in, right? So you can see here these Bollinger Bands have widened. And so now when they widen, you tend to see this consolidation for quite some time before the next move. But if we tend to go sideways for, the remainder of the week, for example, this is going to reset the volatility and also all the bearish indicators, and we could get that move to the upside. But right now, you've missed the move, right? You missed this initial move. There's no point in shorting from here. You're kind of in no man's land. If anything, you want to wait for lower so you can buy cheap Bitcoin or long from here, or wait till we go up higher to resistance to, short Bitcoin or sell off your Bitcoin to try and buy back low, which I never really recommend spot traders to do. It's a little bit risky, and then you have that potential loss. What's the word that I'm looking for? It's I'll remember it later, of course, and I'm just gonna totally forget. But basically it means that if you try and beat the market, you sell Bitcoin and then you see the price go higher, you then tend to buy in because you feel like the price is going up and you made a mistake selling at that price, but you get you obviously make a loss because you've sold Bitcoin, bought back higher, so your overall Bitcoin is actually less than what you had if you just kept it and wrote it down or wrote it on the way up. So right now we're still in this kind of chill zone. The bottom of the Bollinger Band is probably a good indicator for potentially a bounce as well. So if we do come down, we have this point right here, which is probably a little bit of a better point to talk about a swing failure pattern right here, this 25,271. Let's double check if on Coinbase we had the similar price point. So 25,271, 25,271, 25,350. Okay, so about $70 difference to where we were. But basically we have 2 points right here, this point right here is probably the best swing value pattern right here, 25,231. So look for a reaction. If you're on Bybit, look for a reaction around that 25,200 because other exchanges did not go as low as Bybit. So this is that was Coinbase. Let's have a look at Binance. What did Binance do? Binance also 25,400. So higher low. Let's have a look. There's no hidden bullish divergence yet on the weekly, so there's no trade zone. So you can see that the majority of exchanges did not go below that. So we're still, still technically in a higher low, which is, bullish, so to speak. Bitfinex, yep, did go below, right? So went all the way down to 24,749. So because of these mixed values of these recent lows due to the liquidity on exchanges, which is a long-term bullish thing, it's very difficult to determine where Bitcoin will possibly bounce from, because we can see here the point of control on this exchange. Was this BitMEX? I forget what I chose. What did I choose? Bitfinex, right? The point of control of Bitfinex is down here at 16,873. But this is why right now I'm just kind of chilling out. I'm looking for a potential bounce at 23,000. Look, lots of liquidity, much like Bybit, and of course down back at the lows. Guys, I know it's not too much. It's not enthralling technical analysis, but if you are on the sidelines right now, that's probably the best thing to do. Wait for the next week to surpass, and then we'll get a clear direction if Bitcoin is going to continue to further to the downside, or this was a bear trap, and now we're going to sort of push to the upside. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on all notifications because we love bringing this content to you guys each and every day. That's it from me. Peace out. See you guys Wednesday for the altcoin live stream, and I'll catch you on Wednesday. Bye for now.